So, hello. And this past month, I've been thinking a lot about my business and where it is heading and how to scale it. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I publish books on Amazon KDP, and I've been really thinking about what my constraints are in the business. And I came to the conclusion that the biggest constraint is myself. And I think that is the case with most businesses that are run by one single person. But I really believe that that needs to change for me. So these past 2 months, I've been really trying to implement those changes, and now I want to talk about my lessons from implementing them. So, to be honest, I've been struggling with letting go of certain tasks that I was doing and hiring people. And that was maybe because I thought that other people would not do a job as good as I would do it, or maybe that, not even that they wouldn't do it, they wouldn't be able to do it, but maybe that they just would not want to, since they are not as invested in the business as I am, obviously. So that's been really hard. And even though I've been outsourcing the content creation part, so the people who write the books that I hired, that was not really an issue for the most part. But I was still doing a lot of the time-consuming tasks like proofreading the entire book or formatting the entire book, which is not only a task that takes a lot of time, but also one that I absolutely dislike. And so I've been trying to change that. So the first one would be a very obvious one. You cannot do everything yourself, so hire people to outsource the most time-consuming tasks. And the way I did this is I obviously looked at the tasks that I was still doing and that were eating up a lot of my time, and I hired people to do them. So formatting and proofreading, obviously content creation as well. Those are all things that I do not do anymore. I hired last month, I think, at some point I had 9 people who were working on the content creation, and then some of them were working on the formatting and some were working on the proofreading of the book. So I like to separate the tasks because I think if there are more eyes that go through the work, then it's a lower chance for mistakes in the content. Since I've become so passionate about hiring, I started looking up resources and I found this amazing book that was really insightful. I haven't finished it yet, but I do think it's really helpful, so I want to recommend it here. It is written by Dan Martell and it's called Buy Back Your Time. And essentially what he says is that you should not hire just for the sake of hiring people. You should hire with a purpose, and that purpose should be to buy back your time so that you have more freedom to work on tasks that you are good at and to work on tasks that have a higher return for your business. And I think this is great advice, and this is basically what I have been trying to do. So if there's one thing that you take from this video, I hope that at least this book recommendation will be helpful for you. I think it's applicable to any business whatsoever, so even if you don't do self-publishing. The second lesson that I learned is related to the first one, and that is that there are good people out there that could work for you, but you need to persist in finding them. I've had some bad experiences while hiring. So as I said, at some point I had a lot of people doing several tasks, and maybe this was also not the best way to do it on my part, like having so many things running simultaneously, because it was kind of difficult to keep track of everything. And I think that is what allowed this mistake to happen. But I did have one person who, instead of providing me an authentic and original content for a book, they basically just copy-pasted content from the internet and delivered it to me on Upwork as their work. And I already had paid them for that, and unfortunately, because I had already paid them, Upwork was only willing to give me back a part of the money, to refund me just parts. So I lost some money there, but I guess it happens. I guess I just need to find better ways to gauge whether these people are good at that specific task or not. Nevertheless, this is so important that it's really worth going through the failures, and even if you lose some money while doing it, once you find a good person that can work with you long term, that is so beneficial that it's really worth making this investment, and the time investment that goes into looking for people, because that is also very time consuming, to be honest, but it's definitely less time consuming in the long run if you can then work with those people long term. At least that is my opinion. And the third lesson that I had was that after I had outsourced all of those tasks, I had so much more free time to work on the strategical side of the business. So I even had time to come up with new products that I could produce, to maybe look at competitors and see what additional products they have that are in demand, and also to do more on the marketing side of my business, which I think it's just as important as the product. And I remember when I was so caught up in doing those tasks of, I don't know, proofreading or formatting an entire book, which takes hours, it's really hard to focus on the strategy or to really look at the bigger picture. And I think, as the author was saying in the book that I just recommended, once you have more free time, you can also dedicate it to tasks that you are good at, and that in return will give you a better satisfaction. If you do tasks that you like or that you are good at, you will be more motivated to do the work. You will enjoy it more and you will bring out the best. So that is what I learned this past month. If you have a business yourself, or if you do self-publishing as well, please let me know what were some of your strategies to grow or scale your business. I hope you found this content useful, and thank you for watching.